Hello YouTube. I want to install a 20 amp outlet today. Let's rumble. By no means an exhaustive list, but we're going to need outdoor rated Romex 12 gauge, 2 conductor, 20 amp outlet. You can tell it's 20 amps because it has a little side slot here. Weatherproof receptacle cover, some insulated cable staples for nailing the bastard down, some silicone, 20 amp single pole breaker, and drill, flashlight. Probably gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver, and I'm gonna use a 3/4 inch drill bit to try to get through the wall. We shall see if it's long enough. I'm not sure yet. Almost forgot. Also gonna need this. In looking at the breaker panel, I realized I already have an issue. There's no more slots. I thought there would be slots, but there aren't. I'm gonna need to get myself a double gang or a 2-pole breaker. One like this one. Alright, now I hope it's not too dark. I've removed the panel and I intend on replacing this 20 amp breaker with a tandem breaker, 20 amps on each end. So we are going to shut it off. Be careful, of course, and understand that you're working with high voltage and there is a risk of death if you don't know what you're doing. If you're not comfortable doing this sort of work, then call an electrician. Gently grab the wire. Alright, now I'm going to remove the breaker. Well, that's one way to do it. I'm gonna need a similar size breaker. Make sure it's off. There. Bit of encouragement. I'm gonna connect this old one that was here before. Very nice. That can be turned on. Alright, I will now proceed with drilling the hole. Let me first get rid of all the creepy crawlies in here. Reasonable. Those ancient spiders. Fuck, that's creepy. Well, no sense in being scared now. Let's go for it. Jeez, that is quite the borehole. My God, that's a lot of wood. I'm not sure if my drill bit here is enough. Found it, although it's not the right size, it's 3/8 inch. At the very least, this will allow me to punch through and then I can enlarge the hole from the other side. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have all the reach now. Man, what the fuck's on the other end of this, China? Alright. I believe I punched through. Let's go have a look. Back on this side now. So I'm just going to nail it down as I go. Now, it's going to be a lot of yanking and pulling, so I'm going back out here. And in order to make sure that I don't accidentally yank this out, I'm gonna put this vise here. Alright, I got my insulated cable staples, and I'm generally ready to rumble. I'm gonna do my best, obviously not to put any twists or kinks in this as I'm going along. Alright, I've more or less nailed it down. I'm now back here at the electrical box. Well, let me cut this bad boy to roughly to length. So, give myself far more than I need. Which is, of course, always the best policy. Now, I am going to see if I can't punch a hole there through the top of the electrical panel. Let's have a looky-see here. flex it enough times, I should be able to get it. Oh, there it goes. Let's try not to drop it in here, cause it to short something out. Alright, this is where this guy comes in. And here through the top. Yes, it's the right size. Washer here and on the bottom. This is the most tragic button placement I've ever seen on a fucking flashlight. Let's route it in. Okay, we got it. All we gotta do is we gotta really rip open this jacket, and we gotta bring the black wire down here to the breaker, the ground wire over here to the ground bus bar, and the neutral to the, well, neutral bus bar. I just wound up using the shears here to nick the insulation. Now I'm just tearing it like this until I get the desired length. But of course, it's still in here, so you have to like rip it 2 more times before you get what you actually need. Every cable is basically individually insulated inside this row mix. Let's get rid of that insulation. Want to leave a little bit of insulation in there, maybe like an inch or 2. Let's route that ground cable. There's the ground bar. Ah, there we are. Ground is ready to rumble. At this point, it's probably a good call to tighten this clamp here. Going anywhere? No, it is not. If you want to really tighten that bottom washer, generally you want to use a flathead screwdriver and just hammer it down a little. You will notice that the nut has notches. You just want to put your screwdriver on one of those notches and hammer it. Right, let's do the neutral wire next. Now here, supposedly, fucking housed a little more. Snip, it's permanent now. Don't fuck it up. Okay, neutral is good. Let's route that hot wire finally. Alright. Okay, that's ready to rumble. We're going to keep this off, of course. Let's go outside and wire up that outlet. Alright, we're back out here. I can now safely remove this. First thing I want to do is I just want to put some caulk here. Make sure that absolutely no water can get into the house. Right, it's the next day. I got myself a little kit here. Not just the box, the electrical enclosure here. I took the liberty of wrapping a bit of Teflon tape on these plugs, even though the instructions say nothing about it, but I personally don't see any possible way that metal on metal can insulate from water. Now, I personally am a total worrywart when it comes to dealing with electrical, so to me, better safe than sorry. So I put some Teflon tape on both these ends. So what I found was this, what was it? This thing here, it's a UF cable clamp. This 1/2-inch UF cable connector is nice because it's a compression fitting. It's designed exactly for UF cable, and it does seem to clamp down pretty well on the cable, so just threads right in, and then I'm gonna snake the cable through this, and then as you tighten this nut, it compresses this grommet, creates a really tight seal, and the tighter I make this, the better the compression, and that cable is not going to get yanked. So that's what I'm going to use. Let's finish this project. Teflon tape, just out of paranoia. I've got this UF compression fitting, a 1/2 inch. And I'm also going to give it the Teflon treatment. Even if God himself decides to flood this house, he ain't shorting out my beautiful outlet. You could probably submerge this fucker now. Let's see if this fits, first of all. Do a little test fit. I might have to just remove all this caulk here. Because where is this supposed to go? I might need to enlarge the hole. Ah, creamy hole. Disgusting. Now wait a minute. If I put it in there like this, how the hell? How the hell am I supposed to tighten this? I suppose I can tighten it first and then just push it in there. Yeah, I'll have to make that hole bigger one way or another. Let's see if I can just kind of roll the siding here. Maybe if I use the pliers, I can do it. Is that big enough? Yeah, that is. Tighten this. Not actually, which way is tight? Counterclockwise for me. Can I squeeze that in? See, yeah, I noticed that it has angled edge here, so that's probably so it doesn't move no matter which orientation I put it in. Oh, and it can be angled as well if I need it to be. That's very smart. I like that. Alright, that's about as tight as it'll get. Oh, that's beautiful. I suppose then, because since I'm somewhat of a stickler for detail, I'll angle this one as well. Beautiful. Alright, let me... I guess it's as good a time as any to apply some more caulk. And I'm also going to caulk around the edges of this thing. Nice and insulated from water. Okay, I've got a couple of screws here. Outdoor rated. Don't use drywall screws. That's generally frowned upon. It's basically turned into a fucking square. One way or another, this fucking screw is coming out and I'm putting in a new one. Let's see if this helps. Amazingly, yes. In general, things are a lot easier when you're not retarded like me. Alright. Even your fat mom won't be able to rip this thing off. I am pressing and it ain't budging. Ah. Brilliant. Great, I'll do this later. Strip this to length. Use your He-Man strength to do that. Now this ground wire. I'm gonna need some of it because I need to ground both to the enclosure itself and to the GFCI. So let me snip 6 inches here for myself. 6 inches, all to code. No going back now. Don't fuck it up. I don't know, man. It's not as handy as it purports to be. It has a pretty big swing radius.
Kind of like my dick.
This video's mostly about your penis. Alright, the reason I got two here is because one is going to go to the GFCI, while the other is going to go to that ground lug there on the box itself. For ground, always use a green wire nut. It's handy because it has a hole in it. Yeah, see? Okay, I'm gonna loop it around there. When making the loop-de-loop there, be sure that the loop-de-loop is in fact clockwise. It rotates clockwise such that when you go to spin that ground screw there, it'll actually get tightened rather than unwound. Remember, you want the screw to wind the wire. Alright, I like to give it just a little squeeze here with my needle nose. Okay, that's a good connection. Right, let's do the GFCI. Now, some people like to just poke the wires through the holes. I personally don't like it. I think the most reliable connection you can make is doing a loop and screwing it in. But that's just me. I'm sure everyone has their own opinions. Which is better? Which is superior? Hot is the brass colored one. Is that enough? I think it's enough. I don't want to expose too much. That's nice and tight. Oh, and by the way, you want to connect the supplying cable to the line side of the GFCI. The load side is to be used only if you're going to daisy chain something off of this outlet. So don't wire it backwards, or else it won't even work. Okay, neutral wire. Neutral wire goes on the silver colored screw. Beautiful. That ain't going anywhere. Don't forget about ground. Ground, as you might have guessed, goes onto the green screw. Push this bad boy in. Alright. Alright, I think that's about as tight as can be. Let's turn it on, shall we? See if we did a good job or a shitty job. Alright. First of all, it's good practice to label your circuit breakers. In fact, it is code. So I'm going to label this outside outlet south side. Okay, moment of truth. Well, it didn't trip right back. That's a good sign. Let's go have a look. Alright. Reset. Oh, looks like it's happy. Test. Trips just fine. Let's check the voltage. Sine wave means AC. 100 21.1. Truly blessed. Neutral to ground, absolutely nothing. Hot to ground, an even 120. Wow, 120.0. I've been blessed by Zeus. Alright, folks. I hope this video has been informative, perhaps even entertaining. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.